everybody. Welcome to RiverCity-Media. Beyond the Booth. I'm the Howard Cheney along with Phil Harris, way over yonder. As far as my screen, I'm looking at it. The man in the middle, in between us here, is Coach / Manager Bill Higley of the Covennant College softball team. Coach, thanks for joining us again.
You're welcome. Glad to see you guys again. Good to see you
Uh,
guys again.
I'm so tickled that we didn't scare you away the first time.
No, it was great. We had a lot of fun and had a great reaction to it. People were, I was surprised at how many people saw it. So it was a good thing for sure.
Awesome. That's great. Hopefully we'll have a big crowd again tonight, and we got two ladies with us tonight. One of them's been on here one time before. Phil reminded me of it earlier, but I've done a lot of shows since she was on here, and it's hard to track down and keep track of everybody that's on here. But ladies, if you will, introduce yourselves. Start with you, Julie.
My name is Julie Mavity. I'm a freshman on the Covennant softball team. I recently graduated from Outer High School. Yeah.
Go Hornets.
Yeah. Go Hornets.
I'm Madison Taylor. I'm a senior here at Covennant. I'm a sociology major, and I'm from Ackworth, Georgia.
So we got a freshman and a senior. So we're going to get both ends of the spectrum as far as all this going on. That's great. That's awesome. Ackworth, Georgia. Go through there every time I go to Atlanta. A nice little town, but it's very difficult to get through because of the traffic and the red lights.
It is.
Isn't that all of Atlanta, though?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Coach, let's get started with you. You got plans to actually get these young ladies out on the field come Monday if Mother Nature will allow it.
Yeah, Mike Tyson famously said everybody has a plan until they get punched once, right? So I think we're getting punched by Mother Nature this weekend, apparently. Hopefully everybody keeps safe and there's no major problems, but there's some pretty ominous warnings going out. Anyhow, so we were supposed to start on Saturday with a prospect camp. We have 26 young ladies signed up for it from 9th to 12th grade, from as far away as Iowa and Indiana, Florida, and of course, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia kids as well. So right now that's in jeopardy. We haven't totally pulled the plug on it yet. So we're going to make that decision tomorrow. And then on Monday, we would begin our official regular season practices here at Covennant.
So Coach, you're being from up north. This is like summertime for you, I guess. But for us that are normally down in this area, this is like a whole new a creature for us.
And, being from up north, it didn't make me like it anymore. I lived in it for, a lot of years. Just my mother-in-law checked in earlier today. It's like 5 degrees where we used to live. So I don't miss that at all. Several inches of snow they already have. But the good news is coaching up north for 20-some years, there were seasons where we did not see a field until we got south for spring break. So usually our first 6-7 weeks of practice were inside. So the good news is I know how to conduct a practice inside. So we're going to have some good alternatives next week in our gym rather than out on the field.
Madison's shaking her head yes, like she's been through some of those indoor practices. Tell us a little bit about that, Madison.
Yeah, I have. He's honestly probably the best coach at planning an indoor practice. Normally there's in the past, there's been a lot of standing around because there's not a lot of room, but he has so many drills just working on mechanics, both with hitting and fielding. And it's been really beneficial and really productive.
Julie, you're going to get to experience this for the first time, being with Coach Hughes at Ider and everything. You probably didn't have to go indoors very much. So are you looking forward to possibly indoor practice?
We actually, every now and then we would go in our little gym and do kind of hitting in the cage we would set up and do just probably some pitching or something, but it definitely wasn't structured, whereas Coach Higley's describing it as, with all these different drills and stuff. So I really do look forward to all the different opportunities and ways to get better.
Coach Higley, it seems like you got a big advantage over a lot of the coaches down south, especially with some of the ones down here that's not used to this and everything. So how long or how often did you have to go indoors up north?
Well, like I said, so we would be starting about the same time in the middle of January, but there would literally be a couple feet of snow on our field, so going outside just wasn't an option. Every once in a while, we'd go out and practice on the blacktop if we could find a space in the parking lot. And that was a good idea till one day we hit a car with a ball. We decided maybe that wasn't so smart anymore. But yeah, so we just plan for it, at least the first month. And like I say, pretty much into March. And even after the season started, we would still practice inside if the weather got bad because you could play a game or two and then get a snowstorm. And so you got to go back inside. So yeah, it just became a regular part of the routine. You just, after you've done it for a long time, you kind of know what works, what doesn't. And you try to keep it fresh, try to keep it interesting, try to simulate real experience as much as you can. For instance, we can set up a full infield in our indoor facility. We have an auxiliary gym at the school called Ash Gym, and it's 3 basketball courts long, curtains in between each court. So you pull those curtains up, and you can put up a full infield and almost half of an outfield. We can certainly, get outfield work inside as well. I have become an expert at hitting indoor fly balls. And so we play a game every once in a while to see if coach can make a basket from across the court, hitting a fly ball into the hoop. Did I make any last year, Madison? I don't remember. Because the deal is, if I make one, then where I was before, we used to all get to go to practice was over, and we went to Krispy Kreme. So I don't know if we can do that here. We'll figure it out. But a lot of times, of course, I would intentionally not make one because I didn't really want to cancel practice. But yeah, but yeah, there's a lot you can do. It's just really your imagination. And there are a lot of equipment. Matter of fact, last year one of our indoor camps, it was a prospect camp. It's when we had the big storms in the fall last year. I think it was in September, end of September when I first got started, and we were inside for that. And I remember one of the moms picking up a ball, and it was a little bit softer than a normal, outdoor softball. And she was flabbergasted. She had never seen anything like that before. Well, I had buckets of those up in Pennsylvania because we were practicing inside all the time, and it's just a little bit safer, easier on the floor and the walls and all that good stuff. We don't hit those. We have a lot of wiffle balls and simulated ball type things that we use that we can hit inside, so we can get in just as many swings, maybe sometimes more, depending on how we organize it, than we'd be able to do outside. And like I say, pretty much do, anything that we would do in a normal practice, especially infield wise. But we will also put the outfielders out there and make them go through the motions of backing up, being in the cutoff spots, all that good stuff. So yeah, it can be pretty productive. You just have to roll with it and use your imagination a little bit. And yeah, and then there's some things inside that we can do. And I think, Madison, you experienced this. I have a whole circuit thing, a conditioning thing that we created, where they're actually doing drills and softball skill things, doing it on a timer, and you got to do as many as you can. You do it for a minute, you get 10-second break, you move to the next station, go back for a minute. And so after you do that for about 20 minutes, it's a pretty exhausting experience. So it's good conditioning, and it's also good skill building at the same time. And I think that's what we try to do, is things that are going to benefit you in multiple ways. Whatever, and we talk about this all the time, every player has the privilege to ask why, and they're allowed to ask that. And we as coaches need to be ready to explain, why are we doing this? Because if there is no purpose to it, if there is no point to it, then we're wasting time. So everything that we do has a point, has a purpose, and it's to build a particular skill or whatever it may be that we're working on. And so yeah, is again, just use your imagination, creativity, and there's a lot you can get done inside.
When you talk about the cardio and all that, Madison had a little smile on her face, like, yeah, I remember that from last year. Is it pretty rough, Madison?
It's pretty rough, but it's worth it and it's challenging. And we push each other. It got the team closer together because we're all suffering together, but getting better together. So it
They were
definitely
all not
prepared us.
liking the new coach together.
Yeah.
So before I turn it over to Phil, Madison, and Julie, I got one more comment. Remember what Coach said just probably about 5 minutes ago, as far as him hitting the ball into the basket up there. Sometimes he would miss it on purpose to keep the practice going. So, let the other girls know that he may or may not really be trying. Phil, take it away.
Well, Coach, talking about that, you said that the student athletes are allowed to ask why. In the old days, oftentimes coaches, when they told you to do something, you didn't ask why. Times have changed, and I think that's what you're kind of referring to. Times have changed. You have to communicate with these young people so they understand what all this is about.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of the changes that have happened. It's a cultural, sociological change. We know with the old guys on this call, we know back in the day, you never questioned anything your coach told you, right? If he said run through the wall, you ran through the wall. It just was. That's how it was. That's all changed, and I think for the good. It's forced us as coaches, number one, be more intentional, be more thoughtful in what we're doing, and I know personally it helps me because it does force me to think. I don't need to do stuff just to do stuff. We don't want to have activity just to have activity. There needs to be a purpose to it. It needs to be helping us get better at something, or reinforcing fundamentals, or helping us learn something new. And so that was one of the first things I talked about with our ladies last year when I came. Everything has a purpose, and I will try to. We call it our POE, point of emphasis, POE, and everything has a POE. And if I don't mention it, or Coach Rebecca doesn't mention it, or our pitching coach, Coach Higley, doesn't say anything, they are allowed to ask us why. Now, usually if I'm introducing a new drill or a new thing, trying to explain it, I'll say it even before they ask. But if we don't, they have that permission. And you're right, Phil. It is a cultural change for sure in the world of athletics. Just a different day. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has. And coaches that are able to adapt to that are going to be a lot more successful naturally, because the communication chain is going to be better naturally. Well, Coach, this is year 2. Are you a lot more comfortable in your position now, in that the young ladies know you a little bit? They kind of know what to expect. Has it made your job a little bit easier?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's coaching is a huge part of being a successful coach. And let others decide whether I'm successful or not, is to build those relationships, right? And to be able to communicate. It's just kind of what we're just talking about, being able to explain why we're doing stuff. And that's a part of building the trust, building the relationship, with your players, so that they understand that you do have a point, or do you have a purpose to this, and hopefully understand that you know what you're talking about. Sometimes I don't, and they'll correct me, and that's all right. But yeah, I think they know what to expect. They know, where I'm coming from, my style, and I think they've responded really, really well to that. So yeah, you're right, Phil. I just feel more comfortable, probably more relaxed about it. It was a new thing for everybody last year. That newness there's still some of that, but it's not as drastic as it was. And of course, we have a new group of players as well. We have 8 new ladies on our team. So, that's fun to have them there, which Julie, of course, being one of those. And so they're learning, they're trying to figure it out. They don't know what coach is really like yet. They've been warned, the fall is a little more laid back than what we do in the spring. So yeah, it'll be a bit of an adjustment for them. And it's an adjustment for me too. Every team is different, and you have to respond differently to them. And yeah, generally so, but I think every coach walks into a new season with a lot of unknowns, and just not sure how it's going to go. Like I said, you have a plan, but you just never know how things are going to transpire.
Well, Coach, being where you're at Covennant, there's a lot of these young ladies come in from all kind of different areas, different walks of life, different cultures. Now, when you bring them in, they don't know each other. A lot of them, probably like with Julie, she has the same friends she's had for years and years. Well, that's gone away. She's got to adjust to a new life, different culture. What are some of the things you do to try to bring these young ladies together to where they get to know each other and build relationships with them? Because you can have a talented softball team, but if they don't like each other, things are not going to work. How do you do that?
Yeah, what you said there, Phil, just reminds me of that old saying, culture eats strategy for lunch, right? If you don't have a good culture, a good team culture, no matter what great plans you have, it's going to undermine that for sure if you don't have it. So we try to be very intentional in it. It actually started a year ago for Julie. And the reason I know that is because we just started it with our kids who are coming in next year, where I set up a text chain with the ladies that were, in the recruiting process with us who are committed to coming. So I would send things out to them, but also part of my purpose was to allow them to get to know each other. And I think they did a great job. And I think it was through that Julie ended up, identifying who her roommate was going to be, and they connect with each other and they're doing great. So we do that, and starting basically this time, getting ready for next fall already with that aspect of it. And then in the summer months, we actually had each new player connected with one of our returning players. And for lack of a better term, I just called it their big sister. But that big sister role was to answer any questions the incoming person may have about anything. Where do you find this? Where do you get your schedule? Where do you go, pay for whatever? How do I get my room set up? All those things, all the stuff of, new people coming to college where there's just a ton of things that they got to think about that they've never, been involved with before. And so I think our returning players did a really good job with that in helping, the new people be prepared and just being a resource. And a lot of times, honestly, they could answer questions better than I could, because if you ask me, where's the registrar's office? I don't know. Let me ask Madison, where's the registrar's office? So we do that, and then once they get to campus, we do some things to, bring everybody together. We have a team leadership structure, so Madison's one of our captains, so they lead some things like that. Some of it's very, structured, organized, from the leadership of the team, but a lot of it, and probably the most productive part of it, is the spontaneous things that coach doesn't have anything to do with, where they just start hanging out with each other, inviting each other to things, showing each other around, and just having fun. And to me, that's when I know that it's working, when that spontaneous stuff happens. Every team will organize group activities and, fun things to do and kind of stuff like that. Just yesterday for Martin Luther King Day, we went down and served together in the city of Chattanooga at the food bank. We had a great time there. Spent a few hours doing that and learning about that process. And that's huge. It's a team building time as well as us serving and try to give back a little bit. We did a big prospect camp in the fall, and all of our ladies on our team were involved with that. They had different roles to help lead that. So, some things are organized and very intentional and very purposeful and trying to, create that and make that happen. But I think really the beneficial things are just kind of the off the record spontaneous stuff that our ladies do a great job with.
Yeah, very much understand. Well, I want to come back to you a little bit later because we want to talk about team, maybe the expectations and talk about some of the ladies that are returning who are not here now. But one thing I want to ask you about, for people who are listening to this podcast and are interested in Covennant College, what makes Covennant College special off the softball subject, but what makes Covennant College special, and what do they have to offer the student athlete?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Phil. Covennant is unique. It is a Christian liberal arts college. So it has the typical liberal arts majors that you would have at a lot of colleges, private schools around the country, and it is private, obviously. But what's unique is the Christian aspect of it. And so when we start to recruit players, and there are often, I'll come across somebody that maybe is not really a a quality player, a player at the level that we need to have, but they're great people, people that obviously outstanding students. And so that's one of the first characteristics that we have to look at. And I have to find out real early in the process, what is your academic record? And we have some minimal standards that we've got to look at for, us to consider a potential student. And the other part of it, the huge part of it, you've got to give a testimony when you apply to Covennant of your relationship with Christ and what God means to you. And that's all part of the admissions process, because we are a Christian college, and that's our unique thing. And it separates us and distinguishes us from a lot of other small private schools. And so therefore, everything that we do, and it's on our motto, you'll see it on the sign as you drive into campus, in everything Christ is preeminent, meaning that we put God first in everything that we do. And whether it be dorm life, in the classroom, extracurricular activities, whatever it be. And so you're going to get your education from a very biblical worldview, Christian worldview. And we think that adds great value to the process. And so if that's not what you're looking for, Covennant's not that kind of place for you. But that would be the answer. And so if you fit those criteria, you would be a strong fit for Covennant, whether you're an athlete or not. That's kind of the extra thing that we have to look at as coaches. But oftentimes we'll come across kids who are great Covennant fits that may not be great athletes. So we still encourage them, to seriously think about coming to Covennant.
Yeah, of course, goes without saying, winning is still important, but it's not the only thing.
Correct. Yeah. You guys are old enough to remember the old Herm Edwards thing. You play to win the game. You remember that when he did that for the Jets? These ladies have not seen that. I'm putting it in our PowerPoint for our team meeting on Thursday, so they'll get a chance to see that. Because I want to remind them, this is why we play. We're playing to win the game. But we also have some other wins that we're going after as well.
Definitely so. Well, I want to get started with the ladies. Madison, I'm going to ask you first. Tell us, the first thing I want to know, tell us about your family, your mom and dad, and I think you have a brother that I think goes to school at Georgia Tech maybe. Tell us a little bit about your family and what they mean to you.
Yeah, so my dad, his name is Chad Taylor, and he works at a company called Arxada. He was my first coach, and he still thinks he's my coach, even if he doesn't have the label. But he's always supported me and has given me such great advice about the game, both on and on the field, and it's definitely shaped me into the player I am today. And sometimes I don't do that justice, but he's always at all my games and is just a great supporter of mine. My mom, her name's Debbie Taylor, and she is the head direct aftercare program at Due West Elementary. And she is constantly reminding me that this game of softball is supposed to be fun, and the reason why I play, which is to glorify God. And so she's my biggest cheerleader. I do have a younger brother who goes to Tech. He is also a huge supporter of mine. He was forced to catch all my bullpens, go to all my hitting lessons. So I kind of beat up on him a little bit, but he's doing good. I actually have an older brother and older sister too. My older sister is married and has 2 kids, and again, just a huge supporter of mine. And my older brother, his name's Travis. He is special needs and is actually the reason why I play the game. And it's really just shaped me to who I am today. Having a brother who struggled to walk just makes you so appreciative of the body that I have and what a gift it is from God that I'm able to play the game and also get an education, which he couldn't do. But he's definitely my hero, honestly, and has really shaped me to who I am today.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Well, I noticed you're a sociology major. What are your plans after college?
Yeah, so I actually just got accepted into grad school at Piedmont University, where I'm going to get my master's in clinical counseling.
Well, that's good. So you're still on the academic path. You're not ready to get into the workforce yet. Hey, I understand. Be young as long as you can. Well, I want to ask you something. You graduated from North Cobb High School, so that means you were from the Marietta area. Now, at one time when I first worked back in years ago, I ain't even gonna say how long ago it was. I worked off of the 120 South Loop. Okay, when you first got to know the Marietta area, when you asked for directions, was the first thing they told you, do you know where the big chicken is?
Yes, actually, yes, and I do know where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when I first got down there working, everybody, hey, I need to know where so and so is, and they would tell you, "Do you know where the big chicken's at?" And then your directions went from there. So yeah, so I knew that you at one time was in the Marietta area, so I figured that to be the case. I want to ask you too: are your parents Tennessee fans?
They are not. No, we're Michigan
They're not.
fans.
Okay, all right. I just okay. I know at one time I said you were probably from Louisville, wasn't you? Was at one time, but then ended up down here in the South. Well, Julie, I want to ask you. Tell us about your family, your mother and dad. I know who they are. I've never met them, but I have spoke with them several times. Tell us about them, what they mean to you, and and of course, they deserve a lot of the credit for where you're at now.
Yes. So, unlike Madison, I am an only child. I don't have any siblings, so my parents have always been super supportive of me. I don't think they've missed a game, and they probably don't plan to do so either. I've talked to them. They've talked about traveling, talking about when we go spring break, they're going to go to Myrtle Beach with us, which I wouldn't want it any other way because that's just familiarity and like that makes me feel comfortable too, being on the field, knowing that they're supporting and watching me. My dad, his name's Travis. He works in the heating and air business here in Chattanooga. He's actually a Tennessee fan. So I know you asked Madison that, but my mom teaches at Hollywood Elementary. She teaches kindergarten. Yeah, they were also my first coaches as well. They coached me up until I think it was 12U actually. So from 8U to 12U, I believe it was them every time, but I wouldn't want it any other way. It really built that foundation for me and gave me the confidence I needed to go into like school ball. So
yeah. I understand. Did you at all the time, did you know, of course you played volleyball and basketball and softball at Outer. Was that the goal, was to play athletics at the college level?
it definitely was always, I guess, going year round. I just couldn't see myself giving it all up completely. There for a while, I think I always honestly was going for softball because I knew that was probably my best chance because I don't have the height, and I honestly loved it more than I loved any other sport. It's like what I've played the longest. So, but like I just couldn't. I think it probably might have worked out academically for me, like just focusing on academics, but I don't think I would have truly been happy like I am now, getting to do what I love.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would feel like myself if I didn't continue and like gave it up this soon.
Well, right now you're listed as a psychology major. What are your future plans? What do you want to do when you do finish college?
When I graduate from here, I'm not sure where I would like to go for grad school, but I do want to go for neuropsychology and work with like behavioral analyzing and like testing people with like PTSD and different kind of anxiety disorders and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a good plan so far. Sounds like you got it going in the right direction. Well, I want to ask you this. This is your first year, huge adjustment. And I know when you get to a 4-year school, you're away from home for the first time. If you need a little help, you have to stay on campus. You have to call mom and dad or text mom and dad. How has adjustment been to college? I know academics becomes huge. I know you miss home at times. You have to because you miss your parents naturally. But Coach Higley said you had a good fall. How are you able to mix softball into all that? Is it a bigger adjustment to the academics and the school part?
Especially compared to high school, I am kind of nervous for the upcoming seasons being my first one and having to like really work towards my academics and like bus rides. I'm going to probably be reading and doing different assignments. I'm not used to that in high school. So that adjustment is kind of, I think, what I'm the most like nervous for in the spring. But and like the move overall, I think it honestly, I think I would prefer have doing this rather than going to like Northeast, like community college and like commuting, because I feel like, I don't want to say more grown, but like I feel more myself and like doing this for me rather than like doing what was easy, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
So.
Yeah, I very much understand. So in other words, what you're saying, you've jumped out of the frying pan into the fire, but the good thing is you've got that nucleus of folks that you will bond with. And that's good in a way, because you're forced to make new friends and, build relationships.
I was very fortunate to have this like community and family moving initially. I didn't have to worry about making friends and like putting myself out there as much, because I had that kind of foundation of like me knowing like the seniors and juniors on the team also like allowed me to be friends with their friends. Like they can recognize me and associate me with them, and that just builds like a web of community here at Covennant. So it was very beneficial.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, Madison, back to you. Coach Higley said that this past season you really come into your own. You've become a team captain. When you come into your own, was there a moment you felt like I've got this, like maybe a certain game or a certain situation that happened that you felt like, hey, I'm a pretty good softball player and I'm a team leader? Was there a certain moment there that really come to life for you?
Yeah, there was. We were playing at school in Kentucky, and I want off the top of my head, but we didn't have two of our captains due to teaching reasons. They're both teachers, so they weren't able to travel with us. And I think our team was kind of feeling like we were going in with a disadvantage. And we had a really bad first inning, which is not like us. We normally come out very strong. And I'm not one that is going to talk and yell and get everyone hyped or whatever. But I remember I marched in the middle of the circle right before we went into our dugout, and I let everyone know that they all had a God-given ability and they needed to start using it. And that it didn't matter that we were down two, that we were going to beat this team and we were going to win, and we did. And I felt like maybe I could be a leader when push comes to shove, I could stand on my feet and really be a part of the team and I guess be a leader. And then also during spring break, we had the opportunity to get to know the girls on a more of a personal level outside of the game and talk about just like hard conversations. And the girls that I was roomed with, I wasn't as close with. It wasn't my clique, I guess you could say. And we shared some laughs and shared some tears. And I just thought that maybe I was called to get to know these girls on a deeper level outside of softball, and being a captain has given me the opportunity to do that and get to know them as my sisters in Christ and not just my teammates. So,
yeah, that's a good story. Well, tell me this. I mean, last year Coach Higley comes in, new coach, kind of a new process, probably terminology, a lot of different things. Are you a lot more comfortable this year? And does that help you settle into that leadership role?
Yeah. So a little background information on me. I've had 4 different coaches since being at Covennant. The person I got recruited by left my first year, and then we had 3 other coaches since then. So the change in coaches was kind of something I was used to, and I've seen coaches come in and kind of how they took over and leaded the team. And when Coach Higley came in, and he was different from the other coaches, and right there and then I had trust and confidence in him. And honestly, all the girls last year would say he was an answer to our prayers. So I believe that he's already turned the team around so much and has given us such a godly foundation to work off of. So I do feel confident and comfortable being a captain. And I know if I mess up, he's going to talk me through it, and he's going to be in my corner, and he's going to lead me in the right direction for the benefit of me as a person, but also just overall for the team.
Well, tell
Phil,
me this.
before you move on, Phil,
Uh-huh.
let me ask Madison this. I'm not a math major by no means, but by 3 coaches and all this, is this the first coach? Is Coach Higley the first coach you've had back-to-back years?
No, sir. So my
Okay.
freshman year, the head coach was the same, but the coach that I got recruited by was not the same head coach. So coming in
Okay.
Covennant, I had a new coach immediately, and then 2 new assistant coaches.
All right.
Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That is fine. That's fine. It helps to understand. Well, Madison, I want to ask you this. You spent 4 years at Covennant College. Tell us, and there's going to be prospects that may be listening to this, and folks coming in. What does it mean to be a Covennant Scot? What is special about it? And what would you tell a young person coming in? Because a lot of times when it comes to recruiting, the veteran players are the ones that sell the program.
Yeah. Honestly, we want to win, of course, but Covennant, we have our athletic department. Honestly, we have a bigger picture, which is when we face teams that we are glorifying God through our actions and through our words. And no matter what, if the score is at the end of the day, if we glorified God, then that's a win. If we have the opportunity to pray with these girls after on the other team and just be a light to someone who might not have that. And so you're not going to find that at a different school. We have team bonding activities, which have honestly nothing to do with softball, but just getting to know each other and share our personal testimonies. And it builds a community in a web that you won't have anywhere else. And I've made relationships with past players and current players that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. And it's built on a Christ-centered foundation. And it makes playing with them 10 times better. And it makes the wins even better because we get to experience joy and with our community and with our girls. So yeah.
I'm going to say it's probably something you're going to miss, but is this place special enough that when it comes time to have a reunion, you're going to really look forward to it because you girls become a sisterhood, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. We have an alumni game where all of our alumni comes back and we play a game of softball. And so I've got to see some of my past players come back and play. And I'm trying to be present now and enjoy every moment I have, but I'm looking forward to coming back and beating up on some new freshmen. So yeah. But playing against them, yeah.
Well, tell me this. I don't want to put you on the spot, but what has Coach Higley meant to you so far?
Honestly, he's been the best coach I've ever had, and I'm not just saying that. When I say he was an answered prayer for me and my other teammates, he definitely was. He's taught me how to play the game and truly on a Christ-centered foundation. He showed me that I am much more than my stats. I'm a believer, and everything I do is for the glory of God. And he's made the game fun and enjoyable. And he's taught me lessons and has equipped me with things that I'm going to use outside of softball and moving forward on how to build a culture wherever God puts me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well spoken. But Julie, I want to ask you this. I don't want to put you on the spot, but what has been your impression of Coach Higley so far? I'm sure he was a large part of the reason you're here. But what has been your impression so far?
I remember when I initially was getting recruited and we had our first FaceTime call, one of the questions or concerns I had for him, I was like, how personal is Covennant, or how personal are you when it comes to being a coach? And that was his answer of how he genuinely cares for us and he checks in on us so much, and we're more than just players to him. He honestly treats us like his daughters, and I call him my grandpa sometimes. I mean, I might, but on it, I couldn't ask for a better coach or a better transition. He's just made that so easy. Like sometimes I don't even feel like it's like, I don't want to say like it's not a competitive sport, but like we're genuinely playing for the love of the game and we're playing for God. So I don't feel the pressure of like making a mistake or like how I play or anything like that. Like I'm just like in the moment and genuinely like enjoying myself, and just he's just made it so comfortable and easy.
Yeah, I understand. Well, your short time you have spent at Covenant, do you feel very comfortable that you could say go to Madison, who's to the team captains, to sit down with her and be able to communicate with her? And do you respect her that much so far?
I feel like I could definitely go to Madison. I could go to any of the team captains, any of my teammates I could go to. We all hold each other to a really high level and we hold each other accountable. And we genuinely love each other, and we just, like she also mentioned, we spend quality time with each other. We just grow close together, and it's just like it can only go up. Like we genuinely just make each other better. Iron sharpens iron, I think, every day at practice. Even like off season, we hold each other accountable of like, hey, we're going to work out at 6 a.m. if you want to join. I might go after lunch if you want to join. We're gonna go hit or something. Like we're generally always worrying about getting better, and also like each other's like well being and like health as well. Like we just care for each other, and I couldn't ask for a better group of girls, and especially the team captains.
Well, to tell me this, what has been your favorite part of being at Covenant so far?
Um, I honestly couldn't pinpoint anything specifically. Every event or every moment has had its own perks. Um, all these softball moments, you obviously that enjoy that in like the sense of like you're here, like I'm here, like I'm on the team and stuff. But then you have like your like my hall does events and you do stuff together with like your roommates and stuff like that. You have like school wide events like dances and stuff. And there's just so many things at Covenant that you can do. Like they make it so fun and like transition really well. Like you probably have something like every weekend, or at least it seems that way. It feels like that. But I I couldn't honestly pinpoint a
Not one
favorite.
certain thing. So
No.
far so good on everything. Well, Madison,
Hmm.
before I go back to Coach Higley, I want to ask you this: you spent 4 years. Is there something memorable you'll walk away with that's been very special about being at Covenant?
Yeah, so every semester we do something called Day of Prayer. And you wake up really early and we go to Rock City, which is also on the mountain. And we watch the sunrise rise together as a school. You go with your hall or your apartment, whoever you're living with. And there's a worship little service that we do, and the school just prays together. And you pray in your halls or your apartment, whoever you're living with. We have student apartments. So just whoever you come with, you get to pray, and you pray for the school, you pray for the country, and you pray for personal, like just individual needs in that moment. And you just watch the sunrise rise together and with worship music. So it's just so much fun, and you won't find that anywhere else. And we get a whole day off of school for it too.
That's wonderful. You young ladies have sold me on this college so far. I mean, wonderful place and wonderful place to be. And you know, I grew up in Chattanooga. That's where I grew up, and Castle on the Clouds was always talked about, and I would go through there, but I really didn't know that much about it. But it's just here recently I've gotten to know a lot about it. But Coach Higley, I want to go back to you on these two right here. What have they meant to you? I know Madison, you spent 2 years with her. Julie has just come in. What do these two mean to you?
Wow, that's a tough one. Definitely a lot for both of them in different ways, but in some ways the same. I'll start with Madison first. Her and her, teammates will always, that I had that first year last year, will always have a special place in my heart. And it was a big transition going on in my life and my wife and I leaving Pennsylvania, coming here, 12-hour drive, whatever it was, to a place we'd never been before. And we were really, nervous, I guess would be the word, uncertain, of what it would be like. And one of the things that made that transition so smooth and so easy were the ladies on our team who accepted us from day one and loved on us, took care of us, watched out for us, and just made it a joy to be here and to be a part of. And I had gone from my previous role where I was the vice president, basically being responsible for about 300 or so, whatever, students that were a part of it. And it was really cool last year to not have to worry about all the students. All I had was 17 girls that I had to take care of. And that was so much fun. And it was such a blast, and Madison being a part of that. And I remember something about Madison, so I'll tell us one little story about her. Two things, actually. Early on in the process, I asked her to make an adjustment in her swing. I'm not the kind of coach that's going to come in and do a lot of dramatic things. Everybody's got to do it my way kind of stuff. If it works for you, good, do it. I'm not going to mess that up. But there are fundamental things and certain things that you want to see, and you want to see consistency in. And so I saw something in Madison's swing that I thought we could fix. And she took to that very, very quickly and worked hard at it. And I saw her work all through, the winter months when we were between fall practice and spring practice. And the results, what I saw just in those 4 or 5 months, the change and the improvement she made was just dramatic, because of just one small adjustment that she was willing to make. And that told me everything I needed to know about her, of her determination, her work ethic, the kind of person that she is, and her determination to, improve and to be better, her respect and accepting my counsel. She didn't have to. I was the new guy. What's he know? And so, that part of it was a huge blessing to me. And that's the kind of qualities, that's why she's a captain now, because that's the kind of person she is. And the second thing, and I'll tell this, I don't know if Madison knows this, right before the season started last year, so I had weekly meetings with our athletic director. He wanted to be sure that, things were going well, and just to be there to support me and to help me and everything. So I had weekly meetings. And one day he asked me, so tell me how the team is going, and we just kind of evaluate each player. And I said, there's one person on the team, and I think you won't guess, who has surprised me the most and who's going to be a regular starter for us, and I don't think people expect it. So he went through 3 or 4 or 5 people, and I was right. He didn't name Madison. and I said, well, I think you're going to be surprised. It's Madison Taylor. And he goes, really? I said, yeah. And sure enough, she proved me right, and she did a great job and really became one of our most consistent players last year. And I was so proud of her, so happy for her success. And she led, not only on the field, but off the field. And yeah, so that certainly is a huge thing. And now that she's a captain, I get to spend a little bit more time with her than do all the rest of the players, her fellow captains. We meet weekly, although we didn't meet this week or last week because I was gone. But anyhow, that's our goal. And so we get some extra time, special time, and that's always a sweet time, just getting to know that particular group of ladies in a very kind of a different way than the other ones, a deeper way that you have just because you have more time with them. Julie is special because she is one of my first recruits. And I first met Julie, I believe it was in November of last year. Well, year and a couple months ago. And I know basketball season had just started because after she came and did a visit, my wife and I got over to Eider to see her play basketball. And that was a fun experience. I still couldn't tell you the directions to how to find that school in the middle of nowhere out there, but yeah, so we got to, meet her. I met her parents that night, or her dad that night. We had met her mom, and it's really been the start of a really special relationship. One of the things I talk about when you're recruiting, you're not just recruiting the player, you're recruiting their family and their parents. You're inviting them into your program and into who you are, for good or bad. They're going to be a part of it. And, I'm blessed because, like in both these cases, pretty much all the parents were former coaches of their daughters. So, I always know where to go if I need help or, opinions on what to do. And our parents handle it wonderfully. It's a lot of fun. And sometimes half seriously, I will ask them, well, what do you think? Should I be doing this or not? And of course, the dads always have some good ideas, and a few moms. And Julie's mom is one of those will have some good ideas for me. But yeah, and it's just been so much fun to get to know her parents, and to be a part of that recruiting process, because we are recruiting the family, and I want them. I heard something the other day, and I think I'm going to start using it. The coach was talking about recruiting, that he asked the parents, will you be as happy for somebody else's success on the team as your own child? And I am so blessed, because that's the kind of parents we have. We really do. They're happy for the success of every individual on the team, and it doesn't matter whether it's their daughter or not. Obviously, they want their daughter to do well and to, do the best that she can. But they generally do care about each other, and so, yeah. And Julie and her mom and dad are just a part of that, and Julie's also incredibly intelligent. I know she won't tell you that, and that shows up in a lot of ways, including on the softball field. So that's a special part of it as well.
Yeah, that sounds like a good assessment. Of course, I think from what I understand, her mother was a pretty good athlete in her own right. So
I haven't heard. I have to ask her about that. Yeah, but I could see that. Yeah.
Look, Phil is froze
Phil?
up. Yeah, I think Phil is froze up. I know I have internet issues tonight, but his internet issues are a lot worse than mine on a regular basis. And but Coach, we're going to kind of change gears a little bit, kind of step away from the softball side a little bit, and just talk to you and the girls about personal stuff, get to know y'all a little bit. And so, last time you was on here, I found out you're from Scranton, PA, and you applied for the job at Dunder Mifflin and wasn't able to get the job, and that's why you ended up down in Covennant. Instead of selling paper, you're down here coaching softball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, we totally lost Phil then. How big of a change has it been? It's been what, 2 years now, year and a half, 2 years since you've moved down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. How big of a change? How big of a difference has it been for you getting acclimated to everything?
Yeah. Actually, it's gone very smoothly. We are enjoying it for sure. Like I said, I don't miss the snow at all, so I was really disappointed. We're getting some this weekend, but I know, yeah, most of our family still lives up there, and they have had snow on the ground since November, and they just keep getting more. So it's been crazy. It's been a really rough winter up there. I do not miss that at all. I have acclimated to the southern warmth really quickly. And I think the last time I talked to you about this, southern hospitality, we've experienced it tremendously. We live in a neighborhood with a lot of retired people, and it's just been so much fun to get to know them and really develop some really special friendships with them. The Covennant community's been great to us. We feel like we're a part of it. They've accepted us without any conditions, and that's been so much fun. And of course, the ladies. I think probably for me, the biggest adjustments have been from the coaching perspective, and I guess I kind of knew it, but I wasn't prepared for it. How serious high school athletics, and in particular softball, is in the South. And so recruiting it's the lifeblood of any college program, no matter a little school like ours or University of Tennessee, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to recruit to be successful. And I have found that recruiting is highly competitive, even for, the level of players that we are getting at, which I feel are great players and really, such wonderful people. But yeah, it's very competitive. And I've lost some people that I think, man, what happened there? Because I have some suspicions of what, some other people did or said. So I've, learned to navigate that, and probably just learned I probably have to be a little more aggressive in some ways at times. And yeah. But it's
Absolutely.
been fun. I enjoy it. I love recruiting. It's a lot of fun because you get to meet people, meet the great kids like these too.
Good deal. And I also heard that one of your favorite meals down here in the South is grits. Is that accurate or?
I still have not eaten any grits. All I see is just a pile of white stuff. What are you gonna do with this? You know, I've tasted it. There's nothing here, man. I want
Did you add some
substance.
sugar to it?
Well, of course, you got to do that brown sugar. It really is the best, right?
Oh, I don't know. That might be where you went wrong with the brown. It's a white
Oh,
sugar.
okay. All right.
Try the white sugar.
Okay.
I'm
All
I'm
right. We'll try
230 something pounds. I know a little bit about food, so
that. I know how to eat.
be
Huh?
sure. Absolutely. Uh, Coach, I think I asked you this last time, but in case I didn't, you have any rituals or superstitions that you got to do before you take the field?
Not really. I don't touch the white lines. That's probably the only thing. I don't know why or how or what happened. That's an old baseball thing, right? You're not supposed to,
Right.
touch the lines. So I brought that with me. Probably the one unique thing that I do that everybody kind of knows by now, and our players figured it out. There always has to be a supply of Twizzlers in the dugout. And the reason is, and this happened a few times last year. Number one, I just nervous chomping on them. Number two, when I start saying something I shouldn't be saying to an umpire, the players know. And there's a few times that it's kind of funny where one of our players just walked right up to me in my face, "Coach, you need two of these." I got the message. Okay, you're right. I better be quiet.
Right. Yeah. Madison, let me come to you for a few minutes. Oh, I got something to show you for your brother too. You know, go Jackets. I know it's backwards, but it's Georgia Tech. Go Jackets. So
Yeah, go Jackets.
go Jackets. Yeah. A very dear friend of ours plays football at Georgia Tech. He's a senior this
Cool.
year. He's actually down in Orlando getting ready for the All American Bowl for the
Wow.
seniors. And but anyway, Madison, as far as you go, what's your favorite part about playing softball? First of all, I think I missed what position you played.
Oh, I'm in right field.
Right field. Okay. What's the favorite part about playing softball?
Honestly, the learning aspect of it. I don't like to fail, but when I do fail, I love to learn from it and I love to get better. And I feel like for me, that's my biggest way that I glorify God is just constantly getting better and having a good attitude through my failures. But the competitive aspect of it and just knowing that there's something I can always do to get better and to compete better and just, yeah, and getting to do that with my sisters in Christ.
Howie, let me say something here.
Yes.
Behind that, very sweet face that she has and everything, is one of the most competitive people I've ever met. You would not say, look at her and think, "Oh, that girl's really like hard nosed." Oh yeah, get her on the field, you'll see that. I was surprised actually. I knew she was a hard worker, but when it came game time, there was a game face that came out for sure. In a good way.
No offense when I say this, but she's kind of like a bulldog in disguise. She's ready to attack at any point, huh? When Coach mentioned something about changing your swing and everything, how difficult was it for you to be able to do that? Because I know you've probably been swinging the same way for many years, and then Coach comes in and says, "Hey, change it, tweak it just a little." How big of a difference was it for you to get out of that routine to change it just enough to make it the way Coach wanted it?
It was hard. It took a lot of reps and a lot of work outside of practice. But he gave me a drill where I would, and it was really tedious because I would go halfway, I would stop, and I would go back just with my arms and do it again, and then fully swing off a tee. And it was tedious, and I was constantly checking my mechanics, and it took a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it was worth it. And my dad has always preached that my coaches are my God-given authority, and there's something to learn from every single coach, whether good or bad. So him coming up to me and telling me that I needed to change it, that was just, it was an easy mental thing, at least, because I wanted to listen and I wanted to prove myself to him, and that I am comfortable and I want to get better. So
How much did it improve your average and your power?
a lot. I don't know the actual stats in the numbers. I try not to look at my stats, honestly, until after the season. But I definitely went from not being able to get the ball off the ground to line drives.
She was one of our most consistent hitters by the end of the season.
That's good. So it paid off really well.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same question I asked Coach: superstitions or / rituals that you may have to do before you take the field?
Yeah, our team's huge on not touching the white line. I will secretly touch the white line because I need to get it out of the way because I probably will forget and touch the white line. So I just do it really quickly when no one's looking. But before I go up to plate, up to bat, I swing my bat and I touch the top of the plate, and that's my only thing.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we'll let you get off of the hot seat for a few minutes, and we'll put Julie in the hot seat for a few questions. Julie, you talked about the transition from, going into Covennant and everything. What's the biggest surprise transition that you've, good or bad, that you've had to deal with since you went to Covennant?
I don't think there's really any bad surprises. Every aspect of Covenant softball so far has been positive. I have genuinely no complaints. I think the thing that probably surprises me the most is how close everyone is. It's not like a front and it's not like an act. Like, you don't act close when you're at practice and then you get off the field and then like you don't speak. Like, you pass people, you see them, you speak, you have like a quick conversation. People invite you to your dorm room, their apartments, you have little get-togethers. They'll invite you to eat. Like, that's my favorite thing completely at Covennant is how close the community is. Like, nothing can compare to it, honestly.
That's cool. And I know you probably mentioned, but position that you play?
I'm not sure yet. That's up to Coach Higley.
Oh, okay. All
We
right.
haven't really.
We're still figuring that out.
All right.
Infield
Here's a chance
somewhere.
for. I'm sorry, Coach.
I was going to say infield somewhere, and she right now is, excuse me, our number 3 pitcher. She has really surprised us as a pitcher, to be honest with you. And yeah, she did so well that she has earned herself some more opportunity to do that. So it's going to be fun to see.
Julie, is that kind of breaking news to you?
I was aware, but I think hearing it again now, it's kind of setting in now that we're closer. Like, what's up? Yeah, but I'm ready for it, and I wouldn't rather be pitching or playing for anyone else. So,
Julie, Coach is not here. He can't hear what you're fixing to say. I'm going to ask a question. So here, yeah, there you go. What position would you kind of like to play if you could choose?
Probably shortstop. That's where I've like grown up and been the most comfortable. My last 2 seasons of high school, I didn't really get the opportunity to play there much, but I believe that's where I'm the most comfortable at, and I know I could play and excel there. But anywhere on the field, I'll plan to do my best.
Oh yeah, of course, because you wouldn't be at Covennant if Coach didn't think that you wouldn't do your best every chance you got out there.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you the same thing: rituals / superstitions as far as taking the field.
I'm not a very superstitious person. I do like a little quick prayer to myself when we're like stretching. Just kind of like mumbling to God. I know that probably sounds wrong, but like under my breath, not like, and then as a team, we all line our gloves up behind third base. Like, while we go stretch, our gloves are there. So like when we're done stretching, we come back and get our gloves to go throw. But other than those two, I don't have any like insane. But I think it's kind of just like I don't know if it's for everybody, but like mentally not to touch the white chalk. But I wouldn't really call that a superstition. I've just never done it. So I guess it just feels wrong to do so. But I guess you could consider that a superstition.
Apparently, not everybody has that same belief, huh, Julie?
Maybe it's a mountain thing. I don't know.
I know.
Madison told on herself. Madison
I
told on
know.
herself tonight. Her teammates are going to be all over her come Monday at practice. Look at the
You know
captain,
how
captain breaking
you
the
said
rules.
you asked me about superstition. There is one weird thing that I do, so I'm going to publicly say this. I don't think I've ever said it in all the years I've coached. If I use this pen to do the lineup before the game and we win, I got to use this pen again the next game. But if we lose, I'm using a different one. So I always do that. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, all right, this pen didn't bring us any luck. We got to get another one. So, and then if we won a few in a row and I can't find my pen, now we're in big trouble. Yeah.
All right, ladies, let's make sure he gets a brand new pen before the season starts and he runs out of ink in it.
Yeah.
What's going to happen then? You run out of ink, then you have to change pens.
Yeah, that would be a good problem to have, wouldn't it?
There you go. Julie, I'll start off with you and kind of go around. I'm fixing to let y'all go. Phil lost internet connection. He really apologized for that. But Julie, expectations for this season?
I mean, I obviously plan and hope to win every game that we play, but honestly, just getting better throughout each game and getting closer, and obviously, I just want to glorify God through everything. Don't let little mistakes get in my head, and don't get upset about little things that like are in the past that I can't change.
Good deal. Madison, same for you. Expectations for this year? With it, let's get a little teary-eyed here. With it being your senior year, last year playing softball and everything, and it's going to be your first game and first practice, all that teary-eyed stuff that we don't do in softball, right?
No, definitely not.
So expectations for this year?
Yeah, we're definitely want to win more games than last year. We're going to make the conference tournament. I have no doubt in my mind that we'll make it and we'll go far with that. I hope, honestly, just overall team stats go up, and I have no doubt that they will. And I'm excited to be a part of that and see that happen. But overall, just that we are more of a light to God's kingdom than we were the past season. That personally, I just hope that me and the senior class leave it better than what we found it, and the team and the girls. So,
Madison, you kind of mentioned earlier about the camaraderie between you, all of the team together doing things outside of softball and all that. I know it hasn't happened for Julie yet because this is her first kind of go around, but with you and the other girls, have y'all kind of been out there playing and something go wrong or whatever, and then one of the other girls or maybe yourself kind of say something funny to kind of break the ice, kind of loosen everybody up that possibly didn't happen on the softball field, but maybe back at the dorm or y'all out eating somewhere?
yeah, we definitely have. One of the other seniors, her name's Cassidy Phillips. She is a hoot. She has many inside jokes with all the girls that have happened on the field. So she's really good at doing that. But nothing so far, I don't think, with the freshman class. But we've definitely made some good memories yesterday on MLK Day, volunteering at the food bank that we might use.
Good deal. And Phil just chimed in real quick. He said that sorry he got knocked off. Y'all did great. Good luck, and it was a pleasure having y'all on. So I know he was looking forward to this just like I was, but unfortunately, Phil's internet is not the best in the world. Coach, you think Ider's out in the middle of nowhere. You ought to see where Phil Harrisville's at. It literally is. But Coach, expectations for this year, and tell us a little bit real quick about some of the returning players, if you will.
Yeah, so let me start with the returners. Obviously, we have Madison here. and she made probably as much improvement as anybody on our team last year. You know, my hope, I got to be careful. I don't want to put undue pressure on any of the players, you know, but the truth is successful teams are usually led by a few people that, you know, carry them. Any winning team always has one or two players that are their, you know, go-to people. And so, you know, we've got to find that. And, you know, Madison, I think, is definitely one of those people that's capable of that. We pretty much have our starting outfield returning. Well, we do. All three of them started, and we're really solid there. They're all three good hitters in a different way. One of the keys there is going to be for us, our girl Higley Russell, who she hurt her knee back in November. And it was actually our last practice. She hurt and she tore her meniscus a little bit. She just got her brace on today. Today was the first day that she actually was able to hit and throw. And Haley is definitely one of our, you know, top hitters. So we've got to have her in the lineup. And so we're going to be very careful of making sure we get her back. Don't, you know, put too much stress on her, you know, physically for that. Gracie LeClay was our starting center fielder for pretty much all last season. And Gracie's also our leadoff hitter. She's a bit of a slap hitter. And so she brings some speed and that kind of energy that is different, you know, from that position. The infield, honestly, is wide open for us. And that's where there's not a lot of definitives yet. I don't know if I told you this, you know, last year, our starting shortstop, Milo Still, injured her elbow the night before our first game. She broke her elbow. So I was laughing about it again today with our assistant coach. We basically played all last year without a shortstop. And I think we asked everybody on the team to step in there at one time or another and give it a shot. And we just couldn't get, and I'm grateful for every one of them and what they, you know, the effort that they gave. But it just was, you know, a difficult place for us all season. And that ended up, you know, forcing us to move some people around once in a while. So Milo's back. She's 100% healthy. And we're glad to have her back. And, you know, Julie's pushing her there a little bit. And so we're going to have some decisions to make. One of the other seniors that, you know, Madison mentioned, Cassidy, she's been kind of the backup third baseman for the last few years, and she's a very capable third baseman. She started a few games for us last year when our other third baseman couldn't be there because she was the student teacher. And Cass did a great job for us, but she hurt her elbow or hurt her labrum. In our last game last year, she dove for a ball and came down on her shoulder wrong, had to have surgery. So she's still in the process of recovering from that. She can hit, she can swing, she can do everything, but she doesn't have the arm strength that she had before. So we're still working on that, and hopefully she gets back. She's a very good hitter, so she'll be in the lineup whether she's playing a position or DHing. Second base, we lost our starting second baseman, and so that's a position that you know, we need to fill. And we do have another senior, Kaylee Barnett, who's right now would be penciled in as our starter there. She's very capable. She played at Georgia Highlands and was the starting second baseman there. She didn't get a lot of opportunity last year because you know, our other starter was there. So she had a good fall, and I'm anxious to see, you know, how she nails that down. And then first base is a bit of a wide open position, but we do have a returning junior, Tisha Holland, who again didn't start last year, and you know, had her opportunities and did well when she did it, but she was playing behind a senior, so she's going to have her opportunity to, you know, to have that position this year. We'll see how that goes. Probably the position that we are the most unsettled at, and it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, is catching. Yeah, obviously catching is a hugely important position, but the gal who was a returning catcher for us, she would have been the number 3 catcher last year. She caught as a freshman as well. She tore out her ACL, and so she made a remarkable recovery and was able to get back. I didn't expect her to be back for the season, but she couldn't catch, and she basically DH pinch hit for us, you know, throughout the season. And she's one of our strongest hitters. She's not a very big person, but she also has the most power on her team. So we want her bat in the lineup. She's pretty much back 100%, and she's going to get, you know, every opportunity to, you know, to be back there. But from my perspective, I got to be careful because I don't want to overuse her there and it's a very delicate situation because of her knee injury. We've got to be careful about that. So we have actually 3 other catchers that are in the pipeline, and all pretty equal. They have their strengths, their different things they're growing on. And so 1 or 2 of them, 3 of them, maybe, I don't know, are going to get their opportunities to do that. We'll see how that goes. Could be a lot of fun. We'll see what happens. So that, and we have one of our returning pitchers from last year, Charlie Clark, who had a fantastic season for us, and she's a junior now, so she'll be the kind of the ace of our staff. We have a freshman from Vestavia. Is that how you say it? I always say that wrong. Down by Birmingham, is it Vestavia Hills or Heights, something like that?
Vestavia.
Vestavia. Okay, and Elizabeth Yother. Elizabeth's a freshman, and she had a very good high school career, and she'll be getting her innings. And then we lost a pitcher between the fall and the spring semester, and she was injured all fall, so she really didn't get a chance to do anything. And because of her injury, Miss Julie got a lot of more opportunity to pitch and showed us what she could do and did a great job. And Madison is actually also a pitcher. She's got our emergency pitcher, and she's knows what to do, is very capable, got a tremendous drop ball. That's her pitch. And she can get people out with that, and when we need her, she can come in and do that. So she got a lot of innings in the fall as well. So that was good for her to have that prep. So yeah, that's those are most of the returners. I know I threw a few new people in there as well, but yeah, that's kind of the core of our returning people. Did I miss anybody? I think that's all of them. I'm trying to think if yeah.
Expectations for this year?
We want to be better on the field. And I think we can be a better hitting team. That was probably the area that we struggled the most in last year. I thought we would be a better hitting team than what we were. And I think there were multiple factors that contributed to that. And so as a coach, I need to do better in that and help our ladies, be better prepared. So I think we're going to be better at that. We can put a pretty strong lineup out there, and it just has to be productive when we get on the field. One of our huge goals last year was to improve our base running, which we did dramatically, and we want to do better this year. We've got a little bit more team speed, and so we want to, up our aggressiveness on the bases. And I think we have to be better defensively and just be more consistent that way. We've got capable pitching, and this is a game that's centered on pitching. Everything evolves around that. But I think we've got, 4 people that are very capable of leading us there. But we've got to support them, around the outside of them. And so defensively, we just, we want to be more consistent, eliminate the errors, the mistakes, and, just be stronger that way. So I think we're very capable of doing that. A lot of, we basically are going to have 5 or 6 new starters, somewhere around there. So there'll be that kind of turnover, but I feel very good about the people that we have in place to take those positions. So yeah, it'll be fun to see how it goes. Our first game is actually in 2.5 weeks. We have an exhibition game with Pellissippi State. So yeah.
You kind of answered half of the next question, the first exhibition game, and then the next question is going to be the first home game.
I believe it's if I have my date right, the 21st, or no, is it the 19th? Do we play Barry before we play Kentucky Christian? I think we do. That Thursday after we play Mississippi.
We play Barry February 19th, I think.
Okay, yeah. So that would be our first home game. So that's a Thursday, February 19th, and then that Saturday we play home against Kentucky Christian. And then the next week we play home again on Friday and Saturday against Berea and Brevard. And then we got a nice home streak there. After that, we play Agnes Scott, and then we head for spring break after the Agnes Scott game.
And I think Julia mentioned something about spring break. You're going to be in Myrtle Beach. Is that correct?
Yep. Go to North Myrtle Beach. Complex there. They actually added some new fields, they've told me. So they have 12 fields. There'll be about 50 other teams there with us. Most of them coming from up north, but some other teams from the area, from the region. So it's fun. We get to play teams that obviously we otherwise wouldn't play, and it's kind of randomly done. So you don't really know. We're going to play Coast Guard Academy. They were very good. That'll be a fun challenge for us. We play a Penn State school, Penn State Harrisburg, one of the branch campuses of Penn State. We play Cairn University, which is a Christian college in Philadelphia. We play Keystone College, which is very close to where I coached before, like 5 miles from there. So I know that school well. They're a powerhouse in baseball. They're always a top 20 team in the nation in baseball. Their softball team has not been as, at that level, but they're definitely improving. And we get to play. This is going to be one of my really special games. I don't know if the ladies don't know this. We're playing a school called Lancaster Bible College. I'm very good friends with their head coach. And their main pitcher actually was my main pitcher for 2 years. And she's actually from Tennessee. It's so funny. But yeah, so we arranged to play them. It'll be a fun day. And she already knows, Coach, you already know what I pitch. I know you're going to tell those girls what to do. So we'll have some fun with her. Yeah.
Good deal. And I notice every time Myrtle Beach has been mentioned, there's a smile on these two's face every time Myrtle Beach is mentioned.
It's a great arrangement. The hotel we stay in is right on the beach, literally. You walk out to it. It's a fun time. It's just really one of the highlights of our season. And you never know what's going to happen, but you're going to have fun.
All right. Madison, I got one more question for you, and then we're fixing to I'm going to let y'all go. We appreciate y'all's time. But Madison, the cheering that goes on during a softball game, how do y'all determine what cheer is going to be when? And do y'all have cheer practice away from coaches, softball practice, and all this other stuff?
Basically the cheers are just cheers that we've learned from travel ball, school ball. It's silly songs, different beats on a bucket. If there's anything that we could start smacking on, we're going to start smacking on. Certain situations we'll start maybe directing it towards a different situation or a player or a pitcher. Like a pitcher throws 4 balls, we do the 4s and we say it over and over again, but respectfully, of course. But yeah, but there's no cheer practice or anything like that.
Respectfully, you kind of talk trash to the opposing team respectfully.
Respectfully,
there's
yeah.
a fine line there, right?
There's a line. Yeah, there's a line of what we can and can't say.
Well, we could say that we don't.
Yeah, right. So who is kind of the lead person that does we interviewed a coach the other night that is a softball coach at a junior college, and he says that usually the one that leads the cheer are a little bit off the rocker a little bit. So would you say that that's true for y'all as well?
Yes, I would definitely say so. We had a senior last year who definitely led a lot of them, but Tisha and Cass, they lead a lot of cheers.
Okay, and when Tisha's around, you'll know it. You'll hear her.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, Coach, I remember you was going over some of the players that's returning and all that, and I remember some of the players' names because of we had a few of them on last year.
That's right.
And I remember hearing that. I'm going to let y'all get going. We appreciate your time. Didn't mean to keep you this long, but a rule that I've got is I allow all the guests to do shout outs to anybody and as many people as they want to. Madison, since you're unmuted, we'll start with you.
Oh, I feel like I have to say my parents and my brother and sister, Preston, Bridget, Mom, Dad, I love you. Right. So that's my shout out.
All right. Julie, we'll go with you.
I think I'll also have to shout out my parents, and I'm also gonna shout out some of the freshmen that weren't mentioned or like specifically named, like Bree Tyson. You did mention Elizabeth, Megan Porras, Becca Diner, Eliza Furman, and am I forgetting? No, Callie Branham, the new transfer. Yes.
Yeah, Callie. Yeah, and Lily Campbell.
And Lily. Oh my gosh, I forgot Lily. Don't
Yeah.
don't tell her I forgot. Don't
We
tell her I
will.
forgot her.
She'll never see this. No.
Yeah. Well, we hope she does. We hope a lot of people see this. But no, girls, we appreciate your time. Y'all could have been doing anything else. Try to stay warm over this weekend. It's supposed to get a little chilly over the weekend, you know. So, Coach, before I let you go, of course, you got to give shout outs too.
Yeah, well, I think number one person I have to is my wife, who is beside me in this entire process, and she's kind of the team mom. The ladies, take great care of her. So that, and I think really just all the fans, the people that are supportive of us. It's so much fun to be a part of the Covennant community, and in particular our softball family. And like I said, it's not just the players; it's their parents, their families, their brothers and sisters, and it's really cool. And the alumni, it's been really special to have the support and the encouragement from the former players that don't know me and didn't play for me, but they've been incredible in that process too. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. And I'm hoping I'm going to try my best to get off of this mountain and get over to the bigger mountain and watch y'all play some and get the schedule. And I'm sure y'all may play a little bit closer to me than I realized, but I will get the schedule out and look, and I'd like to come see y'all play.
We'd love
And
to have you. Yeah.
looking forward
You're
to
welcome
that.
anytime.
Oh, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Y'all are welcome back anytime. Maybe after, if we can get the smiles off these girls' faces after they get back from Myrtle Beach, maybe we can bring them back on and see how that trip went. And but yeah, we'd love to be able to do this again. And like Phil just commented, he's like, let's do this again. And we love having you on, Coach. It's always great having you on and being able to talk about the school and everything that's going on, especially these young ladies.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We love the opportunity. It's really cool how you folks, going through your website and everything, how you support all the local athletes and all the sports and all kinds of different things. I'm always surprised at some of the stuff I see on there. Wow. So thank you for doing that. That means a lot to every one of those people involved, and to their families, their schools, their communities. So you're doing a great thing. Thank you.
Julie, be sure to tune in tomorrow night. We're going to have Coach Gaddis on talking about his
Oh,
baseball fundraiser, and the insider from Ider, Tyler Dalton, is going to be on as well.
Is he going to be talking about the auction that's coming up,
Yes,
the 31st? I think I might
yes,
plan on going. I'm not sure yet.
yes.
That's
We're gonna
that's always a great time.
we're got them coming on tomorrow night. We're going to talk about that, get the word out about the fundraiser, the auction, and everything that's taking place. So be sure to join us tomorrow night, because I know Coach Gaddis watched a little bit tonight. So
you tell him I
he
said
watched.
hello. He was always my partner when I would go watch Julie. We'd sit there and talk about stuff, and we had a great time. I really appreciate him. He's a fun person.
Absolutely. He is. Good deal. So for Phil Harris that ended up having to leave us for, unfortunately
We'll
for
see you,
the
Phil.
internet issues. Yeah, absolutely, Phil. So for Phil Harris, I'm the Howard Chaney, and our special guest tonight, Julie, Madison, and Coach Higley from Covennant College. Go out and support these young ladies as they're trying to improve on last year's team and make it to the seem like the main goal right now for Madison is to make the conference tournament. Is
Absolutely.
that true?
And win it all.
Yes, and we're going to, and we're going to win it all, no doubt.
Awesome. That's one quick comment, Coach. I don't know if you watched the games over the weekend or not, the NFL games, but Coach Vrabel for the New England Patriots, they mentioned that his first play that he installed his first day of camp was the victory formation.
Victory day. Yeah, I heard that. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
I
if the
did watch
girls
the
heard it or
games.
not.
I am a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, Bills Mafia for all my life. So it was a hard weekend for me. And I really don't care what happens in New England. So
What about Coach? Talk about this real quick. Coach McDermott getting fired. How do you feel about that?
I was surprised, really surprised. Obviously he's hugely successful there. He turned that place around. Yeah, I'm sure there's more to every story, right? I'm sure there's things behind the scenes that we'll never know about. But I was surprised. I was really didn't expect that.
You're a Buffalo man, and I'm a Falcons guy. So
And losing that game to the Falcons cost us big time at the end of the season.
Yep, absolutely.
That was a bad
But,
loss for the Bills. Great win for the Falcons. But
But girls, basically, the new coach put in the victory formation. He said, "Guys, we're going to be running this play a lot this year because they only won like 4 games last year."
yeah.
And sure enough, here they are at. I was going to ask Coach what the record is, but he don't care about them, so he don't remember what the record is. But it's like
It was one
14
more
and
win than Buffalo had. I know that.
it's
think
like
they were.
14-3 or something. So
Yeah, I think
and
it
they're
was,
playing
yeah.
for a chance to go to the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. So keep positive. Even the professionals are got to be motivated every once in a while. So keep in your head that hey, our main thing is getting the last out and being able to win that championship. So I know that's what y'all want to do. And what better way to send Madison out, Julie, with her winning her conference championship there?
There you go.
That'd be great. So anyway, I'm sorry. I was getting us out of here. Phil Harris ended up having to leave. Howard Chaney, Julie, Madison, Coach Higley, thanks for joining us, and looking forward to seeing y'all play and looking forward to having y'all back very soon. So everybody stay
Thanks
warm
so
this
much.
weekend. Stay safe and enjoy the snow if you get any snow. So